At Browns training camp, Berea, Ohio. Kevin Stefanski, head coach of the Browns. So, Kevin, I look around at a camp this year for the Cleveland Browns, and it's not mayhem. It's not crazy. It seems to be football. For a football coach, that's probably preferable.
It is, and as you know, as that football role, as a football coach, everything comes your way, and you can't predict it oftentimes. So you have to be ready to navigate all sorts of things. Having said that, we do love football. We love X's and O's. We love teaching in that meeting room, coming out here on the practice field. So anytime the focus can be on football, it's great for us.
What would you say 1 year ago to today is the difference in both Deshaun Watson and in coaching Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, I would hope that all of us, Deshaun, myself, all of us are just getting better every year. One more lap around the sun, that we're all getting better as players, as coaches, as people. As everybody knows, he's in a different place. He worked really hard on himself, both off the field and on the field. And then continuing for us from a football perspective to maximize the talents of our key players. And certainly that quarterback is an important piece of what we do. So maximizing Deshaun's talents along with what we feel are some really good players on the offensive side of the ball.
When he played last year, the last 6 games of the season, it obviously wasn't everything that you had hoped for. What would you say he is better at today than he was last December?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. You know, it's a small sample size. It was an uneven performance by our football team. We went 3-3 in those football games, and so there's some really good and there's some really bad, and I think we all shared in that. So for us, focus-wise, moving forward is learning from all those reps. You've heard football coaches over the years talk about reps, and I think every single one of them counts. I think you bank them. So we've learned some things in those games that we're trying to carry forward into this season. Small adjustments, some big adjustments, and that's really what training camp has been for, of trying to work those kinks out here on the football field in these preseason games.
What was this off-season like for Deshaun Watson in sort of getting to know his teammates better? I hear he threw with them in Puerto Rico, in Miami, maybe elsewhere. Tell me about his offseason particularly.
Yeah, I think it's very natural for Deshaun to lead from out in front. That's what he's been doing from his high school days to college days to obviously the pros. So one of those things about leadership is being together with your teammates and growing as a team. So he took the team down to vacation, and they got some throwing in on the beach, I'm told. And then they were
in Puerto Rico?
In Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And then they were in Miami, so they got some throwing sessions down there. So that's just part of what he does as a leader. He gets the guys together up here in Cleveland, you know, for a night off. So it's just very natural for him to be that guy that brings everybody together.
Do you still think that the Browns will see the Deshaun Watson who you traded for a year and a half ago?
Yeah, we want the best version of all of our guys. I know what Deshaun's capable of. I've seen it in games. I've seen it in practice. I'm very excited for him. I'm excited about what he's embarking on. But for us, we have to constantly be trying to get a little bit better than the day before. And I think that's really where his focus is. I don't think he looks back and says, I want to do this. I think he looks forward.
Last question about Deshaun is, where is he now as a person versus the guy you first met a little over a year ago?
Yeah, I think it's probably more fair for him to explain that, Peter, and I think he's worked really hard, and certainly in the last year to grow as a person. I see a guy that comes to work every day, takes care of his business, leads his football team, and really focuses on the work. When he needs to speak up, he speaks up. When he needs to take a back seat, he takes a back seat. But I think I see somebody who's very comfortable leading this football team.
Last thing, you have had some additions to your team, but maybe the one that could mean the most to you is adding Elijah Moore. He's had a good camp so far. Tell me what you've seen in Elijah Moore and what your expectations are for him.
I've been really impressed with him, Peter. He was a guy we did a ton of work on when he was coming out of Ole Miss. We all kind of watched the tape. I think the entire NFL watched that tape and was really in awe of the things he was doing. So for us to be able to bring him in, you knew what the tape was about. You knew what he was about coming out, and you talk to people and do your homework. I would just tell you, watching this guy practice is really, really impressive. Some of the great ones do this. They just practice so hard where you have to pull back because they're not going to. So he's a guy that we got to be real cognizant of how much he's running, how many reps he's taking, because he won't tell you he needs out. He's not tapping out. He's a very, very serious player on the football field, fits right into what we do. He doesn't say much, he just goes about his business.
Kevin Stefanski, you're going to be an interesting team to watch this year, aren't you? Don't you? You know, does part of you say, man, wonder what kind of team we're going to be this year?
You know, I think for me, from my seat, I get to watch it every day. I get to watch these guys work. I would tell you I really like the people. I think that's the most important thing. I think we got the right people here, and then we just got to continue to work.
Kevin Stefanski, good luck.
Thanks, Peter.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.